On August 21, 2013, chemical weapons were used in the Syrian conflict yet again. Western powers, the US and France in particular, didn't hesitate for a moment to take advantage of the tragedy, decrying it as a crime against humanity and using it as a springboard to announce their preparations for military strikes against the Syrian government. Make no mistake, this was a crime against humanity, but the gas was not used by the Syrian government. It was used by the NATO-backed rebels. In this video, we're going to show you definitive evidence to support this claim, and we're going to explain the US and NATO's motive for committing such an atrocity. The leaked documents that we're going to be presenting are available for you to download yourself. You'll find a link in the description to that download, and you'll also find links to the mainstream articles we use in our research. Now, in order to really understand this event, we need to look at it in context. The United States has had Syria and Iran in their crosshairs for a long time. The plans for these wars have been in the works for over a decade.
About 10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon and I saw Secretary Rumsfeld and Deputy Secretary Wolfowitz. I went downstairs just to say hello to some of the people on the joint staff who used to work for me, and one of the generals called me and he said, "Sir, you got to come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, No. He says, "We've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq." This was on or about the 20th of September. I said, "We're going to war with Iraq? Why?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "I guess they don't know what else to do." So I said, "Well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to Al-Qaeda?" He said, No. He says, "There's nothing new that way. They just made the decision to go to war with Iraq." He said, "I guess it's like we don't know what to do about terrorists, but we've got a good military and we can take down governments." And he said, "I guess if the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem has to look like a nail." So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, "Are we still going to war with Iraq?" And he said, "Oh, it's worse than that." He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, and he said, I just got this down from upstairs," meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today, and he said, "This is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran."
We will be the party of the future.
We are going to have to deport some people.
I support marriage between one man and one woman.
We need to figure out a way to phase out this program.
Just on legal fronts, I believe Roe v. Wade is not constitutionally solid.
So, ergo should be overturned.
Yes.
Right now, big banking, software, pharmaceutical, and tobacco corporations are lobbying governments from 12 countries to negotiate the dirtiest deal you've never heard of. There's a reason you haven't heard of the TPP, or Trans-Pacific Partnership. There are some major corporations and government officials that don't want you to know what's in the deal. For one, our food safety standards, environmental protections, and local labor laws could all be threatened under the TPP. We could all be forced to pay significantly more for the medicines we need, and you could be fined or even sent to jail for downloading copyrighted content on the internet. How will they know if you do it? Because your internet service providers could be required to watch your online activity. But that's not even the scariest part. The TPP gives corporations the power to sue our government in secret foreign tribunals over any law or regulation they claim affects their expected future profits. Don't believe it? It's already happening. Recently, after Canada said U.S. big pharma corporation Eli Lilly's drug price-raising patents were not legit, the firm sued the Canadian taxpayers for a staggering $500 million. And now billions of dollars are being demanded from Germany after it decided to phase out nuclear power following the Fukushima disaster and improve environmental standards for coal-fired electric plants. Philip Morris and Chevron are in on the game too, raiding taxpayer dollars and trying to reverse crucial policies we all rely on. Thankfully, not everyone is willing to sign on the dotted line just yet. In fact, most government officials still have no idea what they're even signing on to, for good reason. So far, Democrats and Republicans in the House of Representatives have united against fast-tracking the TPP. But there is a mighty corporate lobby that wants to make sure the deal is signed and railroaded quickly through Congress before we know about the damage it will cause us. We must get our senators and representatives to stop fast track. Here's the deal. Without a strong public outcry, politicians will only hear the concerns of multinational corporations. And once the TPP is signed, it's here forever. There's no expiration date and no separation clause. This dirty deal has been deliberately branded as a free trade agreement. It is anything but free for people like you and me. And it's not really about trade. It could cost us our internet freedom, labor rights, access to affordable medicine, the safety of our food, and protections that keep our water and air clean. Nobody wants to be stuck with a backroom deal we don't want and never voted for. Find out more, speak up, and spread the word.
Here comes the TPP crazy train. The TPP crazy train, TPP Express. That fast track crazy train running off the rails into the street. Coming in with the union folks, demanding $15 an hour in the union. Depression since 1932. Countries have come together into one headed towards the Capitol. Massive presence on Capitol Hill, demanding $15 an hour in a union, supported by Trans-Pacific Partnership protesters who've joined in. That save jobs, save the environment, save the internet, save affordable medicine. No fast track.
Shallow slogans don't add up to a strategy.
We will carpet bomb them into oblivion.
Bluster and bigotry are not credentials for becoming commander-in-chief.
This is a clash of civilizations.
This is not a clash of civilizations. This is a clash between civilization and barbarism.
I don't know if sand can glow in the dark, but we're going to find out.
Promising to carpet bomb until the desert glows doesn't make you sound strong. It makes you sound like you're in over your head.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
We must all stand up against offensive, inflammatory, hateful, anti-Muslim rhetoric. We cannot give in to fear. We can't let it stop us from doing what is right and necessary to make us safe, and doing it in a way that is consistent with our values.
We are at war, not just abroad, but here at home. With the clear and present threat of radical Islamic terrorism on the march, we must secure our borders. But Washington continues to fail us with groups like the Gang of Eight that support amnesty and allow sanctuary cities. We need a president who knows that border security is national security. America needs Ted Cruz, the one proven conservative for president. Stand for Truth Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Securing our borders and stopping illegal immigration is a matter of national security. That's why I fought so hard to defeat President Obama and the Republican establishment's Gang of Eight amnesty plan. Their misguided plan would have given Obama the authority to admit Syrian refugees, including ISIS terrorists. That's just wrong. When it comes to radical Islamic terrorism, I think we need to rediscover Ronald Reagan's strategy. We win, they lose. I'm Ted Cruz, and I approve this message.